Hello, welcome back to another round of TFR eSports for the first time in 2026. Here we are for the F3 division for the Belgium Grand Prix, round 10 of 15. I am your commentator, CJH, and I'm joined by a new and different co-commentator today. B29, as most people know, or as I will know now, Cole joins me in the commentary box. And Cole, how are we doing? How was your new year? And looking forward to a frantic F3 Belgium Grand Prix here. Absolutely, and what a track to pick. Spa-Francorchamps, one of the best circuits on the calendar, and we've got a dramatic qualifying here because DRS has just been disabled, as you can see on the screen. And we've got people out there on dry tyres. It's absolutely chucking it down. It started off overcast. We expected heavy rain. And I think, Cole, already, the track may be too wet for dry tyres. Nepatel is. Nepatel. He might be on to a winner there because I think they may be struggling on these dry tyres to get a good lap in. It's such a long lap here at Spa. They probably got caught out a little bit with the rain coming down immediately, almost as soon as the session started. And Ledain's here, championship leader and front of the queue here, I'm pretty sure, although it seems as though Alfie's actually slightly further down the road. So Alfie's actually at the front of the queue, so he's probably had a little bit more of a dry circuit, but you can see there a lot of the drivers struggling to just get the car through these corners. And the risk is, on a track like this, Cole, is on a wet, greasy track on the wrong tyre, it doesn't take a lot for you to end up in the barrier, and then you're completely out of the session. But Alfie then coming through Blanchimont now, setting a purple middle sector, obviously, because he is the first driver out there. But let's just see, will this be the benchmark that nobody will beat in this session, or will this get beaten straight away by Nepatel on those intermediate tyres? It seems as though Nepatel is a hell of a lot quicker than these dry tyre runners, but we'll find out very shortly, because here comes Alfie up to the line then, and it is a 2-minute 2. So that doesn't look particularly quick. Here comes Ledain's as well through the final bus stop chicane, and you can just see the Ferrari sweeping right around the outside of him. And yes, he did go deep indeed. And Nepatel then on those intermediates goes fastest by 7 seconds. It looks like, Cole, the dry tyres is not the right strategy. Absolutely. Shocker there, reserving for Red Bull tonight, goes 5th, with Carabold in 4th, but they're all miles off. And if anyone else is looking, you need to get on those intermediates. The Sci-Fi Mega Hype has an almighty swapper there, coming towards the bus stop chicane, and manages to hold on to the car just about. But to be honest, there's almost no point of them completing these laps on the soft tyre, Skull, because the track has just completely gone away from them here. The track is absolutely soaking in some ways, Cole. They might need to get on those inters soon, because it could get to the point where it's wet tyres. Absolutely. I do apologise to listeners if you can't hear Cole at the minute. I'm working on a fix for the stream to hopefully get that one sorted. But in the meantime, I do apologise for any technical issues there with hearing young Cole on the stream. Just let me know if you can actually hear him, but he's just very quiet, because then I can obviously turn him up. But we'll continue on anyways. So we've got Northey then, the only other driver out there on the intermediates at the minute, as he comes through the first corner. And, well, this is the thing now. A lot of drivers, Cole, are trying to just maybe struggle to get back to the pits, but those who have maybe waited, maybe this is the right opportunity. We know we've got the 2 McLarens that have got engine penalties in this session, so we won't see them coming out. But the likes of Larry, who's just put on the intermediates now in the pit lane, this could be a big opportunity for them, because there's such a gap between the soft tyre and intermediate tyre. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Northey then looked pretty good in that first sector, and it seems fairly tidy at the minute. That would be the shock of all shocks if he could somehow snatch pole here, with no disrespect to him. The RB team have had a bit of a rough season so far, but at the minute, it's looking pretty good on this lap. We'll see what the middle sector is like, and then we will see if this is going to be good enough to challenge that current lap from Niptal. Alfie then is put on a set of intermediates. He's still in the pit lane though. Larry is now out on the circuit, so too is Almastan. And it is a purple middle sector from Northey. This could be quite something, Cole. Absolutely. Here he comes then through Blanchimont, and it seems neat and tidy. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it seems pretty good so far. Just a couple of corners to go, and it's still fairly clean so far on this lap. It's been so good so far for Northey. Could this be a shock pole position? Not quite. Not quite. He's lost quite a bit of time in the end, and yeah, he is 5.6 seconds off. And I don't know why it said there was a couple of purple sectors there, unless that was a little timing glitch on the screen, but it had my hopes up for a moment. Absolutely. Well, he has. We'll try and get him back in. But Ultimate standing on an outlap at the minute. So too is Larry. That seems like a remarkably long outlap there. And well, at the minute, it is only those two that are close to starting a lap. Everyone else is pretty much sat in the pits. We've got Alfie also now starting an outlap as well. But with 9 minutes to go of the session, that is a bit of a shock grid, particularly the front row at the minute. And you can be absolutely guaranteed this will be an absolute barnstorming race. Again, apologies if you can't hear B29 on the stream. We are working on a fix as I speak. But Ledanes then is the current championship leader. For those who have lost track of who is where after our winter break for the last few weeks, he's about 46 points ahead of Alfie in second place, with then Raheem a point behind him, 47 points off Ledanes. What do you think, Cole? Is this Ledanes to lose now, or is it not quite that simple? Because there is still 6 rounds to go, so there's plenty of points still up for grabs in some sense. And between those 3, is there a particular driver of those that you think has got the edge over the other? I mean, it would be obvious to say Ledanes, but do you think there's any kind of hope for the other 2? Absolutely, absolutely. Well, speaking of keeping an eye on, Ultimate Stan here, going for the middle sector, and he is purple. He was purple in the first sector. He's purple in the middle sector here as well. And we've also got Larry not too far behind, so let's just keep an eye on Ultimate Stan here. This could be another surprise contender. So he's run out of deployment already, which is a bit of a surprise. Well, here we go, through bus stop. He goes then, Ultimate Stan then, coming up to the line. And he will go onto the front row. 2 seconds off Nepatal. I wonder if Nepatal got that perfect in terms of the timing. There's Larry sliding through the bus stop, and he's actually had to dive in the pits. He invalidated his lap, so he will not improve. And I think this is the fear now, Cole, for a lot of these drivers on the circuit, is they've not timed it well in terms of when they put that lap in on intermediates. The likes of Nepatal and Northey earlier have put that lap in when the track is properly intermediates. I'd almost argue now, Cole, that this track is for borderline wet tyres. It's beyond the peak performance of the intermediate tyre. Absolutely. I think you're right. So here comes Alfie coming towards the end of the lap here. It's going to be his first proper time. Yeah, he's out of deployment again now, and yeah, I mean it's a very short, straight run to the line, shall I say, at that final corner. So he may get away with it in these conditions as well. But Alfie comes up to the line and goes third. But look at the gaps; it's 3.6 seconds off. Absolutely. So Larry's putting on the wet tyres. That is a bit of a gamble. At the end of the day, though, if anyone gets a clean lap in at the minute, as Ledanes does that, goes fourth ahead of Northey. But there's opportunities up for grabs here for a lot of drivers to get into that top five. And the likes of Carabel can't get in the session again. Shocker is out there at the minute, up on his current time. So too is Sci-Fi Mega Hype. And to be honest, I would just stay out there at the minute, Cole, on those set of intermediate tyres, put a bit of fuel in the car and just try and get a clean lap in, because, I mean, there's opportunities up for grabs. Well, there goes Sci-Fi up to 6th, Shocker now up to 7th, but those two way off the pace, probably struggling badly in these conditions. There is Larry on those wet tyres, and at the minute, yeah, I'm not sure how that was quite going to work. Top Lobster, the other one, the big one that has missed out in this session. Curwold is now back in, but again, he's missed out quite badly here with these conditions getting worse and worse. Nepatal has sat in the pits ever since that first lap, Cole, and I can confidently say I don't think he's going to move out of that pit lane anytime soon, because he has got pole here for sure. Yeah. Well, Larry then coming through the middle sector, riding on board with him now, struggling a little bit to get the power down there on the exit, but let's see where he can go as he approaches the line. If anyone can help me out on the chat in terms of how I can enable Cole's voice sharing on the stream, that'd be much appreciated, because at the minute I'm not too sure on a fix on that one. I am streaming from PlayStation and he's on Xbox, if I'm correct, Cole. So if anyone knows a solution, do let me know. Larry then starting his lap, shall I say. I thought he was on a flyer there. I got caught up in that, and running on board with him for this lap. We'll stick with it, and we'll keep an eye on the timings on the left-hand side of the screen and the track map on the right-hand side of the screen. Larry coming towards Arouge here, and very slidey off the circuit as well. He didn't exactly seem like he had the confidence there, Cole. Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy. It's going to be weird because in the race, it's obviously going to be very different conditions again. So they will have to almost get the setups adjusted and sorted and get ready for more opportunities in the race. Because as we saw in Hungary, things can be very different compared to the qualifying in terms of the pure pace. So, the chat, Luca saying in the chat, how are you, CJ? I'm good, thank you. I hope you had a good new year, Luca. Please make sure you get in your predictions on the stream. We will try and get through as much as we can throughout this one. But Larry then struggling away still on this lap. A lot of drivers have given up on this one. They've all dived into the pit lane, and it looks like they're not going to be returning in the closing stages, Cole. That's a very good point. That is a very good point, yeah. It is done and dusted, and this lap is done and dusted for Larry. He's just invalidated there. But unfortunately for him, he is miles off the pace. Anyway, he's going to finish the lap. Good on him. Get it across the line. And that lap would have put him P8. or a P8. Yeah, but Carabold's on the wet tires as well, so he's in a similar position here. He's going to have to try and pull something out the bag here to get up the order. I have been doing a co-op career mode with Carabold actually around Spa, and I can't lie, he's not exactly great around this circuit. He'll hate me for saying that on the stream, but let's see if he can turn his fortunes around with this lap. But coming down the hill once more, he's got a big old task ahead of him on those wet tires. If he wants to find more pace, he probably would have been doing all right on those soft tires earlier in the intermediate conditions compared to these wets in the current state, because once those wet tires go on, the pace does seem to fade away, and he is a second down in that first sector. I mean, that's quite telling, isn't it? That on the slippery conditions earlier on the softs, it was actually quicker. Absolutely. Well, there's a little snap there coming out of that corner, but the checker flag is out, and he is wide once more, and I don't think he's going to improve. However, Top Lobster is out there now on a set of intermediate tires as he dips the tire into the gravel, and he may be able to improve here because he's not actually set a lap yet. Yeah, so Larry as well is out there for another lap. He's got another time on the board, or he's going to set another time on the board here. And let's just see, where is he going to put himself? Definitely not on pole. That's long gone. But as he comes out the final corner, very slowly there, struggling to get the power down, he sets. He goes P8, a 2:06. So actually, a fraction of a second quicker than Carabold, who is actually now improving remarkably. So let's see where he can go. He pops himself up to 6th. So that's came out of nowhere. So yeah, a decent lap there from Carabold. Top Lobster then coming through the final corner on those intermediates. I was surprised to see Carabold shoot up the order like that. And Top Lobster's gone on even further. He's gone P5. What a lap from Top Lobster there right at the end. Just when I thought, Cole, that session was done and dusted, we weren't going to see any more improvements. We've just seen 3 improvements there. Yeah. So that just shows there was probably still a little bit of pace there in those intermediates. But that is your grid then for this F3 Belgium GP. It's going to be a short and fast and furious race, this one, because it's only 11 laps long. And you can be absolutely sure, Cole, there's going to be action guaranteed. Definitely. I think that is very true. So the gap 2 seconds then from Nepatel to Ultimate Stan, with Alfie a further 1.6 seconds behind Ultimate Stan in third, with Ledanes in fourth. Alfie, critically for him, is ahead of his championship rival for this Belgium GP. So it's going to be all eyes on that one in terms of where they end up. I'm currently sat in the results screen here, and it's not progressing. So we will see what's going to happen. I think I found a solution, Cole, for the stream being able to hear it, and that will be game chat. So if you're able to hop into that, I think that might fix things, because then I'll be here in the game. If you just mute everybody that's in the actual lobby, and then we should be all good. But we'll be back in 2 moments. Can you hear me now, Cole? Is it working? Okay, that is us back working. We'll try and get Larry in very quickly, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this the good old solo comms, so if someone's able to send the stream in Discord, that'd be much appreciated. Because here we go. This is it. We're going to get straight into this F3 Belgium Grand Prix then. And unfortunately, yeah, B29, we're unable to get that working with the good old Discord, so I'm going to have to just give this a go. Right. It's Nepatel then on pole position. We've then got Ultimate Stan in second and Alfie in third with the championship leader Ledanes in fourth. It's a long old run down and up the hill on that opening lap, so it'll be critical for the leader Nepatel to try and hold off the chasing pack and manage to just scamper off into the distance. It's only an 11 lap race this, so it should be done pretty quickly because of it being such a high average speed at this circuit. But here come the lights ahead of the drivers. We've got 5 red lights here in Spa. And we are underway for the F3 Belgium GP. Nepatel then doesn't get the greatest of starts. And we're 3 wide into the first corner. We've got the Alpine on the outside. And Nepatel's got that terribly wrong. There's a pile up in the first corner. We've got 4 cars all off there. And it's absolute chaos. And that couldn't have gone any worse there for the Ferrari man. Got it completely wrong. Alfie then is into the lead with a car off in the background there, and that is Tob Lobster. We've got a VSC early on here. He's gone straight on after a Rouge and into the wall hard on that left-hand side of the screen. And Ollie Bean is now got a 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Shocker. So something's gone on there up the road. But, well, drama early on and absolute chaos there at the first turn. And, well, how do we pick the bones out of that? So Ledane's then really, really in trouble, getting caught up in all sorts at that first corner. And, well, it looks like there's no damage on the car, but he has lost a lot of time. It was very much stuck at that first corner. We are now green once again. Caramold then on the tail of Cypher Mega Hype for P5. And, well, it's the top 4 then, all on soft tires. Ollie Bean has a big penalty. Nepatel, your pole man, now down into 8th on those medium tires. And it's Ultimate Stan really putting the pressure on Alfie for the lead of this race. Alfie, at the minute, will take a massive chunk of points out of your championship leader. But there is Ultimate Stan, hot on the tail of that Haas. Doesn't quite go down the inside, but he is right there, ready to pick up the pieces. There goes Carabold on your right-hand side, trying to get ahead of the Haas into the bus stop chicane. There goes Ollie Bean diving in the pits. So this is now a battle for P4. Carabold trying to get a better exit there. We'll now have the inside line for this next corner there, wheel to wheel. But it looks like Cypher Mega Hype just had a bit better straight line speed and hangs on to maintain that P4 position. Carabold then will have another run up the hill. And we've got to keep an eye on those race leaders as well, because Alfie then coming under significant pressure from Ultimate Stan right behind him for the lead here. And here comes Ultimate Stan then. He's going to go right to the outside on Alfie. How late does he brake? Look at that. Sweet move right around the outside. Easy as you like. And Carabold as well now back ahead of Sci-Fi Mega Hype. And he's got to try and make the most of those soft tires. They'll last for a good few more laps at the minute, but he will not want to get stuck behind Sci-Fi on those medium tires. Raheen then just behind that pair. There's Nepatel with a broken front wing. It was that man there who had the mistake off the line and really got into all sorts of bother, causing that pile up into the first corner. And, well, you'd have to say that was probably one of the biggest pile ups we've had all season, because they all just went piling into each other. Ollie being then the first driver to pit in this race. He's on hard tyres and will go all the way to the finish on those. So let's stand then with a purple mill sector already trying to break that DRS to Alfie with Shocker, the reserve driver, right hot on his tail as well now. So this is a freeway scrap for the win, because the rest of the pack have completely been split away. Well, it looks like B29, it seems as though he may have got something sorted, but we're going to have to just carry on, I'm afraid. Fortunately, Gold will have to carry on with this one. Ultimate Stan then onto lap 3, sets the fastest lap of the race, and Shocker there now in the DRS of Alfie. So Shocker will be the next person to be trying that move. We've then got the Ferrari train, shall I say, further down the road, because Carabold is really got a queue of cars behind him. We've got many drivers now out of position, and we'll see how they can find their way up the order. Let me know what you think about the start of that race, because that was dramatic. If it was at fault, I mean, it was obviously Nepatau that was the car that was facing the wrong way around, but pick the bones out of that one, because I think there's only a couple of cars that have got damage on those front wings, such as Nepatau there, and I can't quite see anybody else. Northey now down into 8th place, but this man here, your championship leader, Ledanes, has got a lot of work to do. Down in 9th place, currently 12 seconds off the race lead, so you can almost count him out of any podium tonight. He's probably just got to make this damage limitations for his championship. Right, up the road there, Nepatau going on quite nicely now. Even though he has that broken front wing, he is closing in on Raheem for P6 there, who is also closing in on Cypher Mega Hype. They're all going to close in on each other very shortly, and we're going to have battles galore here, such as up the road. Shocker has got good pace here. Had good pace last time out in Hungary on his return to TFR eSports, and he's closing in on Alfie there under braking, and we'll try and set this up for down the Camel Straight and trying to get the job done. There goes Carabold in the pits. That's an early stop for the soft tires, but they don't tend to last too long here, so you want to just get rid of them pretty sharpish. But that now releases Cypher Mega Hype in 4th place with a chasing pack now try to hunt him down in this middle part of the race. Shocker there with a little moment over the top of the hill, and he still does have DRS, but he has lost quite a bit of time there from that slight error. We'll keep an eye on the pace of Carabold throughout this one, because I think he will have quite a bit of an undercut on some of the others, I would imagine. And yeah, he could still manage to build a bit of a gap to Sci-Fi, but the beauty of this race, of what we got here, we've got a real mix of medium soft tire runners in this midfield scrap. So depending on how much they can make the most of that undercut, and how much then their tires will be struggling later on, these guys on the mediums, they just got to sit a bit patient at the minute, and they'll come on very nicely towards the end of this race. I'm trying to keep an eye on this gap from Shocker to Sci-Fi, because also Sci-Fi is starting to take a little bit of time out of that Red Bull. Had a bit of a better middle sector there. Now he's got actually a ton of cars queuing up behind him, but that top 3, they'll be hoping that that gap stays how it is. And Ultimate Stand as well, having a bit of a rough lap himself here, actually losing a bit of time to Alfie. Sci-Fi coming under serious pressure from Raheem there. Raheem going to the outside on the Haas now, switches back in, tucks behind, and there's a little bit of contact there, and he dives in the pits. So too is Shocker there. You see the McLaren diving in the background. So too does the RB there of Northey, and so too does the Williams and Ledanes. So that is the first pit stops coming in. And well, there goes Shocker, already done and dusted out of his pit box. And we've also got Carabold then coming down the start finish straight. There you see that Ferrari. He's going to be well clear of the others, and also may have gained quite a bit of time on Shocker, so don't rule him out. There goes Nepatau surely on the Haas. He's still in the slipstream, he's still got the DRS, and pulls to the inside on the Haas, and it's job done for Nepatau. Great move up into P3 now, and this is going to be an interesting little squabble here, because he has got the front wing damage, Nepatau, so he potentially has a lot more pace in the locker, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and salvage something from this one after that awful first corner, you would have to say. Ollie Bean, that first stopper, he is way off the pack after that penalty as well, so he'll be just struggling away just to get some form of points on the board. McLaren were having a decent season, I thought, in the Constructors, but tonight it is not happening for them at all. But lap 5 then of 11, we're going to expect Ultimate Stan and Alfie to dive in the pits. And look at that, Nepatel very, very wide there. Coming out of that corner. And, well, lucky, to say the least, that he didn't end up any further to the right-hand side, or else he would have been in serious trouble. There we go then, they're coming in the pits, the top two. Let's see then where they come out, because they will be keeping an eye a little bit on Shocker here. Shocker's triggered the undercut. Maybe a slight delay on Ultimate Stan's pit stop there, maybe. I mean, unless I'm reading into that a bit too much. There is Shocker coming down the start-finish straight. Let's keep an eye on this, because it's going to be oh so tight. Coming through the first corner, absolutely attacked that curb. And there they are. There they are, right in front of them. And Shocker then will tuck into the slipstream and will surely have a little go. And Alfie has gained quite a bit on Ultimate Stan then at that pit stop. And if you were him, you'd absolutely empty the tank here and try and get a move done into this next corner. I'm not sure it's going to be close enough. There is Currabold in the background. He has very much brought himself suddenly into play in this race. After that undercut, he is very much in the mix now for the top spots of this race. And don't go anywhere, because this could be any of these fours' victory here. Ultimate Stan looked to be having this under control, but all of a sudden now he is in a spot above her. He's going to have Larry right in front of him now as well at this tricky part of the circuit where you don't really want a car stuck in front of you. He is going to hold him right up and bring the chasing trio right behind him into play. There is Ultimate Stan. Can't quite get the move done. He's just dipped a tyre in the grass, the gravel chassis as well. And there is Alfie right on his tail. So this could be a critical moment in this race. There is Alfie. He's so close to Ultimate Stan here. And if he gets a right old run at the Alpine, he'll have to have a go into bus stop, because he got overtaken by the Alpine earlier, and then that was it. There goes Ultimate Stan. This could be a key move for him. He's going to have to get late on the brakes, right around the outside of Larry there. Just gets off the brake as well and gets job done. Alfie as well swoops past Larry. Larry dives in the pits anyway, but there is your four fighting for the win here, and we've not got long to go. Currable with the fastest lap of the race. This could be anyone's. Someone else dives in the pits as well. That's Cypher Mega Hype going onto the soft tyres now, but he is going to be right at the back of that midfield. And if you just think, he was right with Currabold for a part of this race, and now he's well and truly out of the picture, because Currabold is kind of alive in the second half of the race. There he goes, up into net P3 now. So on those medium tyres, he is absolutely flying. And Shocker there couldn't do a thing. And, well, they've got a bit of a gap to the top two, but with the pace that Currabold's showing right now, he is absolutely in the mix for winning this one. Ultimate Stan still cannot break that DRS to Alfie, and I fear for his sake he might not be able to break the DRS for the remainder of this one, because that is going to be very, very tricky to get away with how powerful the DRS around this circuit. But let me know in the chat what you think the podium's going to be come the end of this one, because at the minute, I have no idea. Currabold has had a bad middle sector there. He's had a very bad middle sector, actually. Not even just bad. It's awful, because Shocker is right back behind him and will have a little go, potentially into bus stop. So just as Currabold was doing very good here, a little mistake, and then things have been blown back at him. And, well, Shocker unable to make a move. These two look like they're going to be fighting then for this final podium spot. Nepatel's into the pits to get rid of those medium tyres. He'll be on softs then for these final couple of laps. But again, he is a bit out of the picture here, and he'll just be fighting then for that kind of P5 spot at a push. But it's a shame to see that those medium to soft tyre runners are kind of out of the picture here, because I was going to be a bit interested to see where they could be. Look at this. A four-way scrap then for P6. As Nepatel comes out the pits right in the thick of that. I'm keeping an eye on those battles up the road as well. But look at this. So Nepatel will get a great run and will get past Northey. There is Ladanes there. Again, I say it, the championship leader struggling away down in 8th place. Has a little look to the inside on Norby, but can't make the move. What a turnaround this is. After dominating the last round in Hungary, here he is, struggling to get P7. And maybe there is fundamental chassis damage on the car, maybe floor damage or side pods, could be anything. But this is not his night. And at the minute, he's going to get passed. He's going to get passed by S25 Mega Hype. Wow. I did not expect to see that. Ledanes here is staring at a P9 finish. And big points getting dropped in this F3 Championship. It is not looking good for him at all. Lap 8 then, about to start lap 9. Almost stand there, coming under a lot of pressure under the brakes, with Alfie almost forcing him along. Alfie again with the DRS then. You can see Stan's driver there looking in the mirror, and he'll be looking in the mirror plenty down this straight, because this could be all action here. Ledanes is battling again with S25 Mega Hype, but we're keeping an eye on this because it is for the lead. And Alfie will once more have DRS, but probably has no ERS, and he doesn't. He has 0 ERS at all. I can see that on the steering wheel there. So he's got to somehow charge that battery back up, because he will not be making that overtake whilst he's got no battery in the tank. But Carabold seems to have finally broken a little bit clear ahead of Shocker for third. So that's that position potentially just fended off for the minute, whilst his tyres won't be too bad actually. There's not too much of a difference between him and Shocker, so he may just have to accept that P3 is the best result he's going to get today, which in some ways is not bad at all. With the way it was looking earlier, it was not looking at that kind of finish. But who will win between these two here? Alfie desperately needs this win for his championship, because he knows if he can win this, he will seriously close up to Ledanes in the standings for the top spot. But where does he do it? He has to charge that battery. He's got to get that charged up. And he will know, though, that Ledanes, you can see there in that middle sector, is right in the middle now of a bit of a scrap for P5. So that might not just be over yet. If that McLaren and Ferrari start to tail off in pace, Ledanes could still recover some important points for his championship. So, penultimate lap then. Has Alfie got what it takes here? He's still got no ERS, and we've got a car off. It's Norby at the bus stop chicane. So that's just handed another position to Ledanes there. He's up to P7 now. Big gap, though, to Nepatel. So that might just be all that Ledanes will be picking up tonight. But a mistake there from Norby. Sad to see. He was having a good race compared to his season so far. But I think a little error there. And that means he'll be settling for P9. Alfie has to get that ERS saved up. It's just almost painful watching it. I will put that on the screen momentarily for people to see. Ultimate stand with 60% there. Alfie with only 20%. And I will say again, he had 0% coming down the Camel Straight. He's not going to get the move done unless he can charge that battery up. But the problem is, he's got to keep his pace high here to then stay close to Ultimate Stand to make that move. Ultimate Stand may be just saving a bit of pace back here. Maybe he knows the game he's playing here and can just maintain this gap over Alfie and get this across the line. Ultimate Stand has obviously won a race so far this season, but this could be the best of the bunch if he can hang on here. He was looking good earlier on in the race, but it's became quite a bit more tricky now at this phase, and we are onto the final lap here. Ultimate Stand, can he hang on ahead of Alfie? Alfie needs this win badly for the championship, and it'll be big points he'll take out of Ledanes. It's not all over if he doesn't, but he absolutely has to go for this now. Up through Rouge there. Has Alfie got close enough? I don't think he is. He's got no ERS once more, and he's just not going to be close enough down the Camel Straight to make the move there. This is only going to change unless if Ultimate Stan makes a mistake, or if Alfie can somehow try a move at this part of the circuit. He may get a chance into bus stop if he's feeling brave. And that's what I say, this might not be over yet. If you're Carabold sitting behind this, you want this to kind of blow up a little bit in the closing stages. But let's hope that doesn't happen. It's been a good race between the pair of them. They both deserve to be on the podium. They probably both deserve the win here, but it looks like Ultimate Stan is just going to do enough to hang on. He's having a good middle sector here. Just once again ekes a couple of attempts out of Alfie just to stay a little bit safe there for this final stretch. And meanwhile, further behind, there's Nepatal making a move on Raheem. So for P5, Nepatal and Raheem getting oh so close there. These two, and Raheem chucks it down the inside. I'm not sure he could get that done, and he's lost it. He's dropped it and into the wall, and that's another position for Ledanes. But here is Ultimate Stan round in the final corner, and he will win brilliantly here in Spa, ahead of Alfie in second place. Carabold then picks up a solid P3 with a decent recovery drive from him. Shocker in fourth. We've then got Nepatal with the broken front wing after his chaotic lap one in P5. Ledanes then picks up P6 in the end, which is probably not too bad considering the disastrous race he ended up having. Cypher Mega Hype in 7th. It's Northy in 8th in the end. He reclaims that position because we got the McLaren off there of Raheem at the final bus stop chicane. He'll be absolutely furious with himself there because it's dropped points for him. But it's Ultimate Stan who wins the F3 Belgium GP to pick up his second victory of the season. But it's Alfie who will just bring himself a little bit more into this championship fight now. And that bit closer to Ledanes at the top. But there he is, that man there. Ultimate Stan picks up another win in F3. And that was a great drive of just being patient, defensive driving, where he knew obviously Alfie wasn't able to charge the battery up, and he knew that all he needed to do was keep his battery intact. And whilst he had the pace in the middle sector, it meant that Alfie was not going to make that move on the Alpine driver, and that was all it was really. Ultimate Stan picks up the win. Alfie actually had the fastest lap, but it means nothing in the end because Ultimate Stan gets that victory. Alfie second with Carabold in third. The big one though, Ledanes down in 6th place. Points dropped for him. Surprising to see, not what we expected going into this race. But only one DNF, Top Lobster having a big old shunt at Rouge. And unfortunately for him, it was a very short race. But for the others, it was damage limitations for some and then opportunities grabbed for others. And it's Ultimate Stan then who wins for the second time this season. And we'll be back next week for the Italian Grand Prix. Monza returns to TFR eSports. I very much indeed will be looking forward to that one. If you've enjoyed the stream, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the TFR eSports YouTube channel. We're going to dash off now for the F2 division, and we'll see you then.